What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop the Discord link for that's in the description box down below.
Yes, we're here in the house, kicking off a brand new week here at MCF, My Cowboys Family, and of course, the same old by the front office. And we're going to hear from them directly today, kind of the main part of the stream, which is a real chunky part of this thing at the end. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, as well as rule changes by, the coaches are there, the owners are there, the competition committee, which is on the left here, Stephen Jones is there, and we got our draft, our 2024 draft hats, as you can see. And we'll talk about everything and more here on MCF. But first, let's give the shout out to those that are running the show this week. Some new names representing in some, a couple spots, same old places. Some new names coming back and taking over. As you can see, the man McLovin.
Woo! Showing the love. Thank you very much. Not just taking over once more as a sponsor of the week. He said, holding on to that Cash App King, taking it back as well.
Yes, appreciate the man McLovin. He's rocking it. I think he's got 4 out of the last 6 weeks of domination here, at least, maybe even more, maybe 5 out of the last 7 weeks. So domination from McLovin, who loves the Dolphins, but he's also a fan of MCF. And I say, go Cowboys.
Always.
You know how we do this here. So much love to you, McLovin, sponsor of the week and Cash App King. But Mr. A. Lavelle, the longest running membership member that we have, is in the silver level membership, 94 points in the stream boss. Much love to him and his. Appreciate you, Mr. Lavelle. And then, of course, one of the most important spots of giving love here at MCF, the gifting membership board, the leader, the winner of this past week, the man that stays skeptical fan. Much love to him.
Thank you so much, Skeptical. Appreciate you, of course,
he came through again. Jason had won it the week before that with 3 gifted memberships this past week. He won it with 3 as well, Mr. Skeptical fan. Much love to him. And I think Jason came in second on that board there last week. Either way, appreciate all you guys that gift memberships to those that don't have any in the chat. It's a great way to give love to the channel, but also to the family in the chat. So appreciate you guys there, part of the membership, gifted or entered on their own. So thank you guys on that. So we got all that. But then who's running the boards now this week? Of course, there's no gifting leader because we just kicked off literally tonight. So can't have a leader. But you do have some leaders on the other parts of the boards. As you can see, McLovin, yes, he's repping it there, but he is not the leader. He is second place, I will say. And SCO 971 is third place. All these guys I'm mentioning are also on the Cash App board. You'll see why in a minute. But the leader on both the overall board and the Cash App board here, kicking off a brand new week already, it is the man, Harley Dad. He's popped in here a couple times.
Much love, Harley.
Yeah, he's a Niners fan. Supporting and loving here the MCF family, so appreciate Harley Dad. Much love to him. He is in a major player, Mr. Harley Dad, but so is James Ottawa.
Major player.
He's getting us. Hey, James Ottawa, part of the After Dark family. He's getting a membership here from the man staying skeptical fan. Who's now?
Shout out to you, Skeptical. Appreciate you showing the love and gifting.
Yes,
the love there.
And in first place on the gifting board, also, trying to go back to back like our 90s Cowboys, right? So appreciate you, Skeptical fan. Gifting is one of the greatest ways of giving the love here in MCF. So,
and hey, guys, you already know, drop them if you got them.
Yeah, so in the membership, you got those emojis, drop it like it's hot. Thank you, Skeptical fan in the house. Harley Dad is in the lead, in first place. I think Skeptical's in fourth on the board right now, but Harley Dad's in first place on both boards. All right, he had some After Dark love, much love from and to him. So appreciate you, Harley Dad. Same thing goes to McLovin, who's right there in second place behind Harley Dad. Third place, SCO 971. Fourth place on the board currently, kicking off a brand new week. You'll see it. It's TBA to be announced, but it's going to be Skeptical fan. Appreciate him. He's halfway to SCO 971's third place spot. So appreciate you, Skeptical. Appreciate you guys there. SCO 971, McLovin, who's the sponsor of the weekend, the Cash App King, and Harley Dad, who's trying to take that crown over. We shall see what happens After Dark and on here on MCF. So thank you guys. But again, if you want to challenge Harley Dad, there's 4 different ways of doing that, specifically in the Cash App side. On the overall side, it's all those ways, super chats, the gifting memberships, joining in the membership, that counts through the leaderboard. And of course, the thanks button. But there's 4 ways you can affect the Cash App crown, which is right now run by McLovin. Harley Dad's coming for it. How do you affect that, board?
Well, you have, of course, the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily,
right
the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Yes, y'all. You know how it goes. Appreciate you guys on all these levels, however you drop the love. Also, I want to shout out some love back. Sometime either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, we're going to have our Star and Over Everything level membership monthly jersey raffle. And it could be any team. So you could be a Dolphin fan or a Niner fan like Harley Dad. And if you're in the raffle, you have a chance to win a jersey. Is less choices than other teams. We got like 40 choices if you're a Cowboy fan. So again, different styles of the ranges of the teams from their decades and their respective eras and years. So you got different styles, sewn and stitched, authentic, like Hall of Famers, old school, new school, all kinds of players if you're a Cowboy fan. All school. So yes, a lot of different choices to win from here. Again, Star level members, you're in. Over Everything level member right now is one in there. Seabass, much love. You're in. But so are the weekly winners. So if you're a sponsor week, for example, like right now we got James Bramlett, the Brand Man, in the mix. We got McLovin now. McLovin now, of course, in the mix. We have
Jeremy Bramlett, by the way.
Yeah, the Brand Man, Jeremy Bramlett, McLovin, and of course Dead Fool. They are added. They get 1 raffle entry each in here. If they win again, if Harley Dad holds it down, let's just say, for example, and he'll be the 4th bonus entry, let's say, for these raffles. So, hey, and if you already got a Star or Over Everything level membership in there, and you happen to win one of these weeks, you get a bonus entry as well. And remember, Over Everything gets also automatic bonus entry. So, anyways, there you go, guys. Because I'm talking about this now a little bit more in detail because the raffle's in what? 7 days? Not even that. Like 5 days. About 5 days away. So. Last chance to jump into that if you want to get in there or try to win one of these boards. Again, appreciate everybody on this, and let's give those nightly shout-outs for the headliners of this thing, which is the Star and Over Everything level membership. So, baby, without further ado, let's give them their proper dues.
Thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Marissa Sparkle, Andy Potched, Dwayne Broussard, The Lunatic, and Over Everything.
Yeah.
Seabass.
Much love to you guys. Cannot do it without you. With all of you guys on those level memberships and Navy Blue and Silver too. And now, baby, let's give the shout outs to those in the house. Ready to discuss some Cowboy news info and
what better way to kick things off than Mary Alvarez?
Let's discuss what Mary Alvarez had to say. Hell yeah.
13 months in that Star level membership. Much love, saying hello, everyone. Hope everyone has been doing great. God bless you all. Of course, go Cowboys, and always, no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. That's Star Over Everything.
Yes.
You know it. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate your love here, your continued support. Can't do this without your guys' true, it's the drops of knowledge in the chat, the drops of love from above, and however it is, whether it's even here or after dark, we appreciate you guys. So thank you all, especially the OG's been here for basically almost 7 years on July 1st. So can't do this without the love from the family. Thank you guys, and appreciate it. Let's get to the
let me keep rolling with the rest of the shout-outs. Rolando Rodriguez, shout out to you. Choctaw Montana 808. You already know. Thanks for being here. Eric Wallace, what's up? Xavier Hidalgo, much love. James Ottawa. Not sure how to take that, but sure. I guess. Do whatever you want. Double R representing. Skeptical Fan always. Staying skeptical, much love. Juan Carlos in the house. We have... Let me see who else is here. Stephen White, much love to you. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Mike Aldana, shout out to you as well. Oh man, a special guest, Jared in the house. Jared Jones.
Yeah.
C Bass, you guys know.
Over Everything.
Ooh. Shout out to you, of course. I appreciate all those. Trust me, we're gonna get to all of that here. Even you, Lee Side Herald. I guess you had to, come talk real football around here. James Herr, what's up? Much love. So, baby, as more people trickle in, I'll shout them out. But let's get rolling here tonight.
Yeah, let's get going. Because we heard from both Joneses. But also, I want to make clear for those that were hanging on the After Dark early morning Cowboy MCF channel, I had it like today was an off day for me. I had to like recuperate, and it's going to be more recouping tonight. Listen to some music on After Dark. Just letting you know. more than the party atmosphere, but we're still going to chill. So you guys want to hang, it might be 30, 40, 100, who knows, hanging over there having some
and
fun.
Darius Davis, what's up? Much love.
Yeah. So now let's start it off with just some basic Cowboy news here, saluting our bravest heroes, the Cowboys. Today on National Medal of Honor Day, had a big ceremony for Medal of Honor recipients at Ford Center, and of course, there's that National Museum, there's a Museum of National Medal of Honor is in Dallas at the Cowboy front office. The Joneses, they have backed, so that's kind of the intertwining here on, again, today's National Medal of Honor Day. So we salute those that have earned that. So and the Cowboys, of course, gave them their represented them proudly and rightly on their channels and on their social media and such. So now
we do love to see.
Yeah, well, of course. Now we do have an expansion. Yes, the NFL expanding globally. Yes, today they announced the expansion of the NFL's Global Markets Program. 25 teams across 19 international markets now have access to grow their fan bases around the world and build their brands globally in this third year of this program. Okay. And Argentina gets the Dolphins. All right?
Okay.
Austria gets the Lions, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Patriots, and the Bucks. Australia gets Montana 808 dropping his comment of the month for the month of March. What did the man say?
He said, "I'm trying to get that star membership, but YouTube won't let me upgrade," which is crazy work.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
It might be. I'm gonna guess, just because we had this discussion last time. YouTube was doing weird.
Yeah.
Ish. Not sure if we can curse yet, so I'll be conservative. Might be an iPhone thing. Don't know if you have a computer or something, or if you can open it in the browser. Just throwing that out there because I know that's usually what ends up happening.
iPhones have less features available, so that could be one of those features they don't have available. So that's a good.
Bringing the good luck though. Montana said anyway. Last time I was in Myrtle Beach, Dallas got Micah. So let's see what happens at 24.
Maybe something good happens in this draft. Because, damn, we know we need it. We ain't doing anything else.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to get to that in a minute. Let me fly through this. I know some of these countries, I'm going to go through it quickly. Australia has the Rams. We have a lot of Australian fans here in After Dark. So Australia has the Rams and the Eagles. Please boo them. Brazil. We know some people close to that family here. Brazil gets the Dolphins and the New England Patriots. Canada gets, which maybe that's going to be their opening game. We'll see. But Canada gets the Lions. I guess it's going to be the Eagles game. So, again, if the Eagles are against the Dolphins, or if they pick them against the Patriots, then that could be a game somehow. If they match up, that could be the opening game of the year. Remember, it's going to be in Brazil. Canada, a lot of Canadian fans as well. The Lions, the Vikings, and the Seahawks. That makes sense. China gets the Rams. Colombia, the Dolphins. France get the Saints. Of course, that makes sense. Ghana getting the Eagles. Germany gets a whole bunch of teams. Too many to name. Ireland get the Jaguars, the Jets, Steelers. Japan gets the Rams. South Korea gets the Rams. So all of the Asian countries are getting the LA Rams. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say that makes sense.
New Zealand gets the Rams and the Eagles. Nigeria getting the Browns. Spain gets the Bears and the Dolphins. Switzerland, a bunch of teams there. United Kingdom, a bunch of teams there. Where are the Cowboys? Well, the Cowboys are with a bunch of teams from Mexico, which makes obviously 1,000% sense. And we have the biggest fan base of any NFL team out of Mexico are the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I was going to say, we probably have, let's be real, the largest international fan base just in general. Mainly probably hugely boosted by Mexico.
Yeah, well, just, and the brand of that star over everything. But the thing is this, the Raiders are another team that have a big base in Mexico as well. The Cowboys. So of course the Cowboys are one of the teams representing Mexico there. The Raiders, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Broncos, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Steelers, and the Dolphins. So basically, all the teams getting represented there in Mexico. That seems to be the biggest group. So anyway, just wanted to announce that there. We'll see how that progresses, but this means you'll see a lot more advertising in these countries of these specific teams and trying to get that NFL, viewership going up as you get ready for the flag football in the Olympics. that's coming. So, they want to try to push it any way possible.
Remember, we're only in 2024. I'm guessing, especially
28,
with the Olympics
26,
this year. But
28.
by 2028, I have a feeling the NFL definitely has plans to
Yeah.
have a bigger international presence that can be felt.
It's not in my notes, but I remember seeing earlier today, I think, or yesterday, DeAndre Hopkins talking about how much he loves flag football. He's like talking on the world stage on some kind of conference. So, yeah, it's starting. You can see it's progressing towards we're going to have flag football in the Olympics. So, now moving on from football for a moment and just like a sidestepping situation, because there were some other moves done out there, free agency wise. One quick move, which was the Dolphins made a deal, got linebacker Shaquille Barrett signed. He got a base 1 year deal, $7 million, and $6.75 million of that is guaranteed. $5.54 million is a signing bonus, $250,000 per game in roster bonuses, and maximum of $9 million if he hits all the incentives. The Dolphins created, again, very creative with a tight salary cap. Interesting, huh? We don't see that coming from the Cowboys side. They added 4 voidable years. A 1 year deal, but it's really 5 years. And those 4 years basically take the, I'm trying to give a range here, but basically about $6 million, and you divide it over 4 years.
Okay.
So you're paying dead cap money for the next bunch of years.
Not that bad, though,
exactly.
because it's a
1.2
very small
million.
amount.
Exactly. It's like 1.2 million a year. Next year is 4 years of dead cap. You're not even going to see it on the Dolphins cap. And they can fit in a good player for basically about $2 million. $2.55 million is what they're getting him for on the cap this year. That's how you work the cap. It's pretty simple. We've been talking about this for fucking years. Jerry Jones and all them, Steven Jones, they don't give a fuck about that. They don't want facts. They want bullshit. So we got to deal with that. Now, speaking of bullshit, which again, we know the Joneses, we're always going to put the blame on Rain Dakota Prescott. You know how that goes, right? So Dak always gets the blame for everything, whether he deserves it sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. But Dak, is managed by his agent, Todd France, and issue happened today. Big issues with Dak. Not with Dak, but with Dak. Dak's his own issues with that woman claiming he raped her 7 years ago, all that. But he got some issues with his agent, and its NFL agent, Todd France, suffered a massive defeat in this NFLPA arbitration situation, included $450,000 in punitive damages. And this is made public today because he made the petition to vacate this decision. So, that's just kind of a summary. Baby, you have the details of this, but he gets clobbered. An NFLPA versus him. And it's all known because he made a motion today, made it public. So, kind of embarrassing. It could affect Dak. I don't know if it will or not, but explain to me what's going on, baby. You're the legal expert on the show.
Yeah, so basically, and remember, arbitration, just to kind of throw that out there for people who might not know exactly what that is, basically just means that you have a third party come in and decide on an issue between two parties, right? So
there's conflict there.
Yeah. So arbitrator Kaplan handed down one of the strongest decisions ever issued in the NFLPA history. So he ordered Todd France, Dak's agent, to pay his competitor, another agent, Jason Bernstein, a total of $810,800 and something dollars. The point is that out of that $800 and something thousand dollars, $450,000 of that was just straight up damages. It wasn't even, you're paying his legal fees or paying him money that he lost out on. It's straight up, you messed up so bad, we're making you pay this to him for messing up as badly as you did. So why did they, what exactly happened here? So basically, Todd France lied under oath.
Ooh, whoa.
And if it wasn't for Todd France's, what they're calling untruthful conduct, which I'm assuming whatever statements he made, whatever it was that he lied about under oath, it directly impacted the judgment because they're saying Bernstein might have won in that arbitration had it not been for him lying. And he said that he found overwhelming evidence that Todd France and his untruthful testimony constituted bad faith. So basically, it wasn't just, he maybe accidentally forgot or
lied.
He genuinely, knowingly, actively lied, and that it was so outside of what they're calling the bounds of lawful behavior that they felt that they had to enact punitive damages. So basically, they're saying that he lied. He lied so boldly.
Yeah, it was obvious to prove.
Flagrantly.
It was an obvious proof. It was very easy to prove that he was lying. Like,
that
he got
they're
caught.
Just sitting there like, what in the actual fuck? And forced him to pay $450,000 as a penalty to kind of obviously discourage that type of behavior.
To his opponent, to his competitor.
Yeah, so they said this conduct was outrageous and that it ruptured the integrity of the proceedings and violates the foundation of the NFLPA regulations.
So something to watch. I'm going to say this.
That's that's a pretty big deal.
And even bigger when you consider that he's right here with Dak Prescott trying to get an extension right now. He's Dak's agent. So not only the Cowboys front office, Jerry, not only does their quarterback, Dak, not only does Dak's agent, everyone's having some legal issues going down right now. It's not looking so things are slowed down maybe because of that too. Who knows? But I will say this. Does Dak get another agent? Is this staying situation? That's something to keep an eye on?
Or just in general, does this have anything at all in any way to do with the fact that maybe things haven't progressed on the Dak side outside of just our front office stuff?
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, we'll see.
Right?
We'll keep you guys up to date, but right now, not affecting anything on the Dak side of things, and no contract updates as well. But there are some updates on some rule changes by the N to the F to the L. NFL today officially has banned the hip drop tackle, which is basically the Tony Pollard injury last year's Mark Andrews injury. The competition committee was unanimous about it. So NFL has banned it through the competition committee. No surprise there. Despite the NFLPA, though, they had some objections, the players. The NFL made it clear that they wanted to what it calls the swivel hip drop tackle out of the game. And now it officially is. But here's the thing. It's not that, guys, I want you to understand. I know Seabass might not like. I want you to understand how it's going to be implemented. This is important.
Okay.
Expect more fines than flags. Refs are told to kind of let it all go unless it's flagrant, and probably an injury occurs or something like this. But outside of that, it'll be more the front office looking at
by hitting their pocketbooks.
Yes.
Players will obviously naturally be incentivized.
start to stop kind of swivel hip drop situation that's been going for years. It's happened for years. I mean, you play in the backyard, it happens sometimes. You try to tackle someone, use your weight to bring them down, but.
It's
just unfortunate the way it's happening.
Happy the refs are, because that's the only thing that gives me pause. Whenever you enact a new rule and you tell, refs to look out for it, it feels like it tends to be
when it's too subjective.
Yeah, so
it becomes
I'm
an
just saying,
issue.
I'm curious to see what they feel, what qualifies to the refs as flagrant. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the season, right?
According to everybody involved in this, the whispers, there's going to be more fines than flags expected. Okay. That's the purpose. I'm assuming they're going to tell the refs. Call it only on extreme situations. Take it easy on the flags there. We'll make it up on the back end on the issue with finding players. So that's the talk in Orlando. They're all here. They're all saying it's more, quote, fine based than penalty based, this ruling. So I want to make sure, when it comes to an enforcement standpoint, that's the way they're looking at it. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. There's going to be some shitty flags thrown, but there's going to be more. It's supposed to be less flags and more fines in that situation when it comes to that call in itself.
In a weird way, that. This is the final thing I'll say about this. It's almost worse that way, just because, again, if in game it's not penalized, the player would assume that tackle, the way that they're tackling is fine. I feel I wish there was some kind of in between. Yeah. Between, hey, we don't want to penalize this player to hey, at least let me know if I'm actually doing it right instead of telling me. Afterwards, hey, you fucked up here.
The thing is, every player is going to know how to do it right, and it's about implementing that in the game. So I think every player, when they're going to do it, it might be close in a game, and they're going to be thinking, shit, it might hit my pocketbook there. It might hit my wallet. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that there was no flag thrown on that play because it was too close. It was in the middle of a football kind of play, but the players know they might get hit with it. So you'll see, again, with that change, what's going to happen, baby, when something like that happens? To me, you're going to have more broken tackles. You're going to have more guys breaking tackles.
I agree.
So we'll talk about that later because that's relevant to the one rookie who's the Yak King and is a guy the Cowboys were looking at a lot. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but that will help. That will help, players that are, let's say, like Derrick Henry, for example, who pick up players that are tackling them. They got to use their weight to bring them down, and they can't really do that now. Now, how are you going to tackle Derrick Henry? Hence, why the Cowboys should have maybe made a little bit more of a run, but whatever. The subjective nature of the tackle itself, the natural way of tackling, right, of this play, will come into focus a lot this year. So expect that to be the talk of the town throughout the whole year about the way that tackling is not fair. There's going to be, more broken tackles. There's going to be bigger plays, and defense is going to be kind of tied with the hands behind their back a little bit more.
Again, I hate to say it, but also bigger name players that have contracts that can afford an extra hip drop or two.
The lesser
younger
can't.
guys are not going to take those, or younger guys are going to be penalized for taking those types of risks more than some of these older veteran players.
But the problem is, they'll start to hold off a little bit and start to not tackle, and then guess what? Now the older players, they're still playing their high level. The younger players have to hold back, and now they're allowing broken tackles left and right.
Look, we'll obviously discuss this in a little more depth once we have some visual confirmation of what this might look like.
Get ready, guys.
But
preseason
brings up some interesting questions to think about.
For sure. Listen, I'm curious to see how the league views the exact motion when it's in when it's in action. When you see this implemented, let's see how they actually do it. Is it going to be really more fines than flags? We'll see. Now different rule. And I'll talk about I want everybody to voice their quick opinions on all the rules, but Competition Committee has also approved Detroit Lions, their proposal to give a team a third challenge opportunity.
Okay.
If one of the first two attempts are successful. Remember, you used to need both challenges to be right to get that third one.
Okay.
Now they changed it to being basically you get one of the two right. You get a third one. So that's it. That's a quick, easy rule change, and I have no problem with that personally. I
agree.
That's fine.
Again, it allows for more subjective challenges.
Yeah. For
some of those closer plays where maybe a coach would have hesitated before to challenge.
Let's be real. We know McCarthy's fucked up a lot of these challenges. That Buffalo game, he might have just been more apt to take that challenge there if he knows that he can still earn it back by getting another one right if he got that one wrong. You know, I'm saying that. I just think that will make a team like us be a little more, challenge happy, which may be a good thing. So the thing they don't want is slowing it down. That's why they don't want all these challenges. But I think that's a worthy. It's tough to do a challenge in the first place. You get it right, you should get at least an opportunity to get out back.
I agree.
So that's two rules. There's two more they did today, guys. A big one to me. Competition Committee Chairman Rich McKay spoke today after they met in the discussion, and they said that the replay assistant will now be permitted to correct certain types of incorrect calls for roughing the passer and intentional grounding. Okay. You see these refs calling bad intentional grounding calls or missing an intentional, calling it they shouldn't have, or calling it or missing it completely, or roughing the passer calls, which we know we've seen a lot. They miss one completely, or it goes the other way, and that gets crushed and no call. So this now, guys, the way that the criteria is, it's going to have to be purely. It must be purely objective. The quarterback was not hit in the head. He was out of the pocket kind of situation. So the Competition Committee has long opposed challenges to penalties. Okay. Because it essentially substitutes one person's judgment for another person's judgment.
I don't disagree.
But again, now this one is much more specific and pinpointed, more narrow. It's just another step toward empowering the replay assistant to fix clear and obvious mistakes. Because we've complained about these obvious misses, right? Not necessarily holding on Micah or anything like that. We wish they could fix that. But this is more about you missed that their player was not out of the box and threw intentional grounding, then they missed it. The replay official can correct the replay guy up top can send a signal now and say switch the play. It was wrong.
Exactly.
And it relieves the refs a little bit on that duty as well. In case now it's not just the pressure of, hey, did I see everything right there? We know we got a guy backing us up above in the booths. That's a good thing in my opinion.
This is one of those things that we've said for ages. Like, okay, fine. We can't come back and tell the refs, hey, I think we made a mistake, but the refs have to be self-regulating in some way. They have to be actually actively fixing their problems and mistakes, and this just gives an extra layer to catch those very human mistakes that will probably happen to, keep the game, clean and fair on everybody's sides. Now, one thing I'll say, holy cannoli, am I expecting us to be once again the most penalized team ever? Because if you think we make mistakes when they're actually watching, how many mistakes do you think they miss that we get away with?
The good thing is though, we've seen other teams get away with roughing the passer on Dak. We've seen them getting away on throwing the ball out of bounds and intentional grounding.
I'm not saying some of it won't go our way. I'm just saying
we might get a couple extra plays in the negative plays on this with this ruling, because we need extra eyes to get the goddamn plays right against us sometimes. So, anyways, that's a third rule change there, which is going to be interesting. Now, the fourth one involves this guy from the Cowboys, John Fossil, Bones. And it's about the kickoff, guys. The new kickoff is going to be on the opponent's 40 to kick off, and then the opponent's team also lines up at a 35, and it's going to be a landing zone, and you're going to be a lot more returns, a lot more chances for big plays, so a lot more excitement, so and less injuries, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a great thing there. So Rich McKay addressed it. He's the chairman of the NFL Competition Committee. He said, "quote Scoring has trended itself down, but he believes that this new kickoff will have a positive impact on starting field position, which will help that. So better starting field position gives you a better chance to put points on the board. Field goal or touchdown, right? So, again, it seems like a lot of things to help the offense right now, right? No vote on the kickoff yet, though.
Yeah, that's the exciting part, right?
Tabled until when, right, is the question, right? He said, quote, it will definitely be a vote that we're going to need to take at some point. Now, he did add in there and say that a vote could be taken on the kickoff proposal tomorrow. But he did say that waiting until the next meeting on May 20th to the 22nd in Nashville, Tennessee, is probably more probable there, is more possible. He said he'd prefer a vote before the draft, though, so that, again, this would be the May draft. May would be after the draft, though, but if it's before the May draft, teams would then know what kind of maybe some decisions on personnel. But again, you can still draft the guy or an undrafted guy and then use him for the special teams for later.
It sounds like it's better to have more discussions and have everybody on the same page and work out some of the little kinks, I guess, that maybe need to be worked out than to maybe try to rush into something just so teams have more of an anticipation. But, that's kind of weighing some of those pros and cons there.
Yes, and
I guess I wish I knew why he wanted to do it before the draft specifically. Well, I guess, like you said,
I just said it, personnel. Yeah,
decisions, so.
It's more for So again, we have C.J. Goodwin, so we're good there, and we have other guys that you might want for like a short 5-yard, kind of like it was a Braveheart, when they're fighting in the lands there. So it's just like you have a 5-yard space and they just bang into each other as soon as the returner catches the ball or the ball lands into the landing zone, which is from the goal line to the 20-yard line. So if once that happens, then the defense runs, the defensive team, the kickoff team starts running, and the offensive team, the kickoff return team, they start blocking, and then that's how that play is going to look if it passes. I believe it will, but I'm kind of like you. I think it's going to wait until May to pass. Personnel decisions or not, because in the end, really, your guys that are going to be playing special teams are going to be your 5th-string linebacker, your 6th-string cornerback and safety. You know what I'm saying? So you got to hope they play safeties well. I know you got to make sure they play special teams, but I wonder how much that's going to really change certain personnel decisions when it comes to the rule change than just talking it out and getting everybody on the same page, which I think is more viable, and I agree 100% with you. So tomorrow they may vote, but it may tomorrow be announced that they're going to table this until May 20th and through the 22nd in Nashville, Tennessee. We shall hear and see about that tomorrow. Maybe hit up the chat. And let me know any comments about any of these new rule changes. These are the 4 rule changes, 3 rule changes and one that's going to be changed, I think, eventually, the kickoff rule. But they're going to it might vote tomorrow. It might be next time in May. So what is the chat saying?
Seabass said, but to piggyback off of what MCW is saying with another perspective, teams are probably hoping for a decision tomorrow because it is pre-draft and they know personnel-wise moving forward, right? He also said, I don't like the ruling, and I think they'll come back to the original version as far as the tackles, the hip drop stuff. Yeah, he had very strong feelings about that. Kind of basically just similar to me, like he doesn't trust that the NFL will actually self-regulate enough that it's just going to be, flag city.
Yeah, it's over-flagging.
Exactly.
That means we're in trouble.
And that it overwhelmingly favors
the
offense as well. So Pioneer also said with the rule change, there's going to be a need for the bigger, stronger defenders of the 80s. So again,
definitely guys that can tackle differently.
Saying, maybe it does end up just being an NFL scheme thing where you do see NFL defenses maybe change a little bit of the things that they do. So
to me, it's going to be just the way you're naturally tackling, and sometimes you're just naturally going to fall and drop your body to try to drop the guy. You're going to be swinging, and all of a sudden you're going to get called for a flag and then fined. So it's going to suck sometimes, but it will be something that players will have to adapt to, unfortunately. Yeah. I think any players on offense that have good tackle breaking abilities are going to have an advantage. I think any players that are naturally receivers that are good at yards after the catch, are going to be able to get through tackles a little easier, avoiding these kind of, possible situations that can happen with defensive players with the tackling. So we'll see what happens on that. But I hear you guys. Now, I don't know if there's anything more, but I got some stuff about a new, since now, again, how are the Cowboys going to, we talk about the draft, and again, this thing's done by the draft. Well, we got something done now, and it's the draft hats. Baby, take a look at them and tell me what you think about these draft hats that you see on your screen. As you can see on the thumbnail, Jerry and Steven are wearing them.
I mean, the top ones are nice. I actually don't mind them. But the blue ones look like a misprint.
And, the top ones are also the same. They have the same blue on the outline there.
But, look, if it's the outlines in blue, then it looks nice because it makes a star stand out. It looks like almost 3D. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But, man, the blue with the white, what the heck happened there? Like I said, it looks genuinely like a misprint.
They wanted it to, pop, and they wanted, to give it that look like it was coming out the hat.
And
so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I get what they're
like
going for. I just don't think it worked out with those.
On the side of the hat, you see the state of Texas, the American flag on it, and it says America's Team.
But it's hard to come up with a hat design every year.
I agree.
Hats don't really change
These
that
are
much.
the official Dallas Cowboy draft hats, and you'll see the players getting them when they get called on stage, when they are at the home wearing the hat, when they are, the front office or anybody representing the front office or anybody there, is wearing a hat. It'll probably be one of these. So just letting you guys know if you want to get yours, they're out now. They were announced today. Speaking of some draft stuff, and I guess I could go to the draft picks right there. So there's going to be a couple linebackers are available in this draft, and I'll throw the hats back up there. But a couple top 30 visits for the Cowboys. We talked about 4 of them yesterday, 5 of them yesterday. Now let's talk about another one. Temple linebacker Jordan McGee. All right. Again, he had his Temple the pro day and the combine there. His 10-yard split, 1.54. That's tied for first among linebackers. He was third in the broad jump, 10 feet 4 inches. Fourth in the vertical jump, 35.5. 35 and a half inches. Let's put it that way. Top 30 team visits planned already for this guy, a linebacker, Jordan McGee from Temple, the Broncos, and the Dallas Cowboys. So Jordan McGee, now add him to the list this is our third linebacker we have on our list now, guys. Now, the Saints are asking for a workout. The Eagles and Ravens are having a linebacker meeting with him. But they haven't really, the teams that are definitely more in on this guy, Jordan McGee, are the Cowboys. Just a quick note about him, guys. He played, again, another top 30 visit. He played a linebacker. He played in every game but one since 2022. He had 8 sacks over the last 2 seasons, 14 tackles for loss. In 2023, that was second best in the AAC. 5 out of his 11 games with over 9 tackles last year. And McGee was one of 2 players on the 2023 team for Temple that finished as multi-year, single-digit, jersey-wise, you can say, award. But it was awarded. These jerseys were awarded by the teammates to the leaders of the team. So, again, he's one of the leaders. Again, this character, the leadership. So, Jordan McGee, keep him on your list. I look at him. I'm not really sure where he'll fall, but not a first or second. I don't think he's going to be a top pick in that sense. Now, we Cowboys have another guy. I said his name before. All right. Trevin Wallace, linebacker, okay? I think he's the Kentucky linebacker. He also is one of the top 30 visit guys. We do have 3 linebackers there on the list. But out of the 5 guys, right? 5, 6 guys. Trevin Wallace he's going to do a Cowboy 30 visit in April. And he was on the Up and Adams show on NFL Network, on Kate Adams, her show. And again, he said a comment which is interesting. Cowboys are interested in him. He said, quote, I want to imitate my game after Micah Parsons. And it would be great to play with him. And he said that, he loves every part of Micah Parsons' game, including, cell phone game. So, anyways, the point is, Micah said, and I say not cell phone, but a celebration game. He likes the celebrations. He likes his the way he celebrates after sacks or whatever it be. Micah then wrote him back and said, "If you steal my Lion celebration, I'll see you in court." Laugh out loud. He's joking. Yeah, Micah's just fucking around there. So, using his celly, by the way, in the celebrations. Anyways, when you talk about the draft and looking at all these guys, is one other guy I want to make a mention about here. Western Kentucky wide receiver Malachi Corley. All right. So let me just give you a little. He had his pro day. Western Kentucky had a pro day, and he's a guy the Cowboys also have a top 30 visit with. I keep bringing this up for a reason here, because these are the guys the Cowboys are focusing. I'm not going to just give you my favorite guys. I'm going to give you the guys the Cowboys are actually interested in. and he was not able to participate in the on-field testing at the actual combine, so he drew a big crowd at Western Kentucky football, the Hilltoppers.
Okay.
Western Kentucky football's workout, which was yesterday, I think. Scouts from 31 teams were in attendance, and 9 teams sent wide receiver coaches. We were one of them. So,
all right, so definitely a little bit more serious.
And again, a top 30 visit guy. Receivers that were present were from the Ravens, the Bengals, the Broncos, the Colts, the Patriots, Giants, Jets, Steelers, and the Dallas Cowboys. So Malachi Corley, he ran 2 40-yard dashes, one with and one against a pretty strong wind. NFL scouts kind of let leak out there. He had the fastest times in the midpoint 4.4 range, 4.45, 4.47 in speed. The only other thing he did besides position drills was short shuttle, 4.26. But significant the fact that there's interest for this guy who's probably a likely second or third rounder at receiver. He was voted the Senior Bowl North Senior Bowl team as the practice player of the week by the defensive backs. You know, picking from the receivers. He had to pick one receiver. Who was the one that gave him the biggest headaches in the Senior Bowl for the North team? It was Malachi Corley, and that's the thing that, you know, he has that leadership ability too, and that dog in him that, you know, he's challenging the defensive backs in the Senior Bowl. But second round pick for receiver, third round maybe, second round maybe too high in my opinion.
All right.
His value has increased though in a different way because of the rule changes we just talked about.
Yeah.
This guy is the yards after catch king in college. So if people are going to be worried about how they tackle him, he's going to break more tackles. And again, as a receiver, with this moves, the speed, whatever it is, but if it's going to be harder to tackle, he's going to have a bigger advantage. So some people say second round is the highest, and I can't see him. I would say third round. I'd say the highest to go after him if you're the Cowboys. The Cowboys definitely have a lot of interest. They're sending scouts and everybody out there. So
it's funny because I saw a question. I can't remember where I saw it. I have to admit, or who said it. But basically said, like, how would you feel if the Cowboys went, you know, full offense first 3 rounds or full defense first 3 rounds? Like, basically just in general. Because it seems like, you know, there's a strong chance that we lean one way or the other. It feels like offense, very much so, as of now. Right?
Yep.
Just throwing that out there. But I don't think I would be too upset if we went offense, depending on,
well, with the new rule changes,
the positions that we target.
Changes some stuff there, right? You want to make sure you get that offensive line set, receivers set, you know, like a running back in there too. But a lot of holes the Cowboys made on their own. So the draft is going to be a big part of that. We know it, along with those draft hats, those that wear it. But let's talk about now the true topic of tonight, which is Stephen Jones and Jerry fucking Jones. They spoke all over the place today, and they spoke a lot.
Did.
So, you know, I think Jerry Jones spoke first, but we're going to go with Stephen Jones tonight first on this clown show, this tremendously terrible front office that we have here. They have their plans laid out, and they're going to let us know what's going down. Stephen Jones. We'll start with old Stevie here, guys. Stephen Jones.
What does Stevie Wonder say?
Well, he said a couple of things, but I'll throw him up there in the middle there from the clown show. I'll take the clown show down in a minute. But Stephen Jones, he sees the draft, and he talks a lot about the draft. Talked about some players that we lost and gained. He talks about what, you know, the draft aligning with the team needs, which no fucking shit. We need everything. So, of course, the draft aligns. So, listen. Go ahead, baby. What were you saying?
It's okay.
No, okay. So, Stephen Jones spent about 14 minutes today with reporters after the meetings at the Orlando meetings here, NFL meetings. And he was discussing basically the offseason happenings, including free agency or the lack of it, the draft outlook, his hope for the young players. This is going to be a theme now, the young players stepping up. Oh, don't worry. McCarthy and Jerry also say the same thing. So we see now this year is step up. This year, their motto should be not all in. It should be step up because they better, or else it's all out this year. So he talks about this and what he expects from 2024 and beyond. Both guys actually spoke about this.
Okay.
Some highlights from the conversation, some thoughts about it, baby. I know you have this. But it starts with the draft aligning with the Cowboys team needs. And, you know, it's kind of funny, again, saying that because we need a lot. So what do you
say? Like, that's what happens when you need basically somebody almost everywhere.
So what did Steven have to fucking say about this?
I think the draft aligns a little bit with our needs. I think the deepest position in the draft is offensive line. Every year, you're wanting to bring young guys into the fold in terms of your offensive line depth, and how we work, that aligns very well with us.
Obviously, right there, we're going to pick an offensive lineman in the first round. I mean, they're telling us what their plan is. It's not honestly, guys. Are they spilling the beans? We have 2 gaping holes on our offensive line. Of course, we're going to draft an offensive lineman, but first round talent at tackle and center are deeper than most draft classes. So we could go second, third round. If we want to roll the dice on that, if we wanted to. Stephen Jones is not opposing to taking a prospect, earlier in the draft, let's just say. First,
also,
second, third round.
Don't forget that implication of, the way that we do things, whatever undrafted offensive lineman we bring in, Cowboys have secret hopes of turning him to a starter. Yeah,
they always do. But what did he have to say maybe about the fact that, taking a guy, not in the first round, but maybe early, like for day 1 or day 2, first, second, third round? What did he say?
He said because of the depth at that position, there's a pretty good chance we take an offensive lineman pretty high in this draft.
So, again, first round probably. If not, it's going to be second or third round, definitely. Done deal. One of the 3 spots, offensive line. Cross that off your list. If you were wondering, maybe we won't. No, we're going to take an offensive lineman, center, tackle, maybe even a guard. We'll see. Stephen Jones then went on talking about running backs, specifically the one we know the Cowboys are bringing in for a top 30 visit, Texas running back Jonathan Brooks, who has a torn ACL. So he's a rookie with a torn ACL. Now he's been, recouping back from this and rehabbing back, and he's almost off. He's doing a great job and all that great stuff. But we know how nervous we get when Demarion Overshown coming back from the ACL, other players coming back from the ACL that haven't looked so good, like Michael Gallup, like Terrence Steele. Are we going to do this now with a rookie?
If we get him, he absolutely is expected to fill the number 1 running back role.
Right. Well, is he? Because Stephen Jones spoke about this, and remember, Jonathan Brooks, running back from Texas. Cowboys have a top 30 visit, so they're really interested. Torn ACL. Surgery was done by the Cowboys team physician, Dr. Dan Cooper. So what does Stephen Jones have to say about that?
It always helps when one of the doctors you're very familiar with does the surgery. That'll be very helpful. Obviously, he's a guy we follow right in our backyard in Texas. He's got a lot of skill sets. If it wasn't for the injury, Mike would have ultimately been rated the best back in the draft. Anytime that a back is coming off an injury, you have to take those things into account.
They just want him to drop.
Our understanding is he's had a great chance to be ready to not miss anything, start training camp, and go to work. We'll see. I don't want to preempt anything. I haven't seen the medical reports, but from a periphery basis from afar, going to the combine and things like that, I think he can be a player that can start first day of training camp. Not start, but participate right away.
So, not the starter yet, obviously. Their hope would be he starts later in the year. That means Rico's a starter. How do you feel about our running game? Feel good? So, again, Rico Dowdle will be the starter, and Jonathan Brooks would be the backup, and he'll start to practice. Now, they're going to say he'll be back sooner than later. They're going to say that all summer, and then
he'll let him get a sea leg.
And then he'll be on the PUP list. As a rookie coming in, it's supposed to be our eventual number 1 running back off an injury, off an ACL. I'm just saying this is the kind of shit I'm talking about.
I can't help but
which makes you a little bit vomitous.
Yeah, this feels like
this would be bad.
Like Cowboys investing in themselves, and by that I don't mean like the betterment of the team. Like, no, it's a great financial move, to do this now to get a starting running back. For a reasonable draft price and all this other stuff. Like, drafting a running back is not a new decision. The interesting decision is drafting a running back you're expecting to be a starter that's in this type of situation.
And
we need one right now.
As a second or third round pick, you'd be fucking insane. At least a second round pick, you'd be crazy. It'd be stupid. It'd be just as dumb as paying $15 million to Zeke again.
But do you know why, though? Do you know what the real cherry on top of this whole shit Sunday is that makes it such a disastrous situation for us if we were to do it? It's because of, the lack of free agency. If we had moved slightly differently or made other types of moves, it's a lot easier to say, okay, we're going to invest this draft pick in this way and make this move. But when we know heading into this draft that we need every single one of these picks to not just hit, but contribute, do something, pull its weight.
And old ones the last couple of years stepping up.
It scares me a little bit, not going to lie, to have a dude coming off an ACL injury expected to carry that much weight. Yeah.
So, to me, I'm with you. Stephen Jones is talking insanities here. And listen, you can get a good running back. I don't think we're going to use the running back that much. That's why they're going in with Rico. Rico Dowdle is going to be our starter because we're going to run him 12 times a game. Why would you use your second-round pick on a running back that's going to get 12 runs a game with a torn ACL is not going to be your starter for half the season? It makes no sense to me. So, again, I'm not going to get mad about it, but maybe the Cowboys trying to throw the scent off. But they're having top 30 visits. They love this guy. They're monitoring this guy. They're gonna make the crazy ass move, and it's gonna end up being a guy that's gonna be with us for maybe 4 years, hopefully at best, not injured. And he should be good, but he's going to be his best of himself from Texas. I know the surgeries have been better. I know everyone comes back from ACLs and MCLs nowadays. I agree, and I understand that there's a much better chance than in the past. But you still need a year and a half or 2 years to even get back to your best.
Yeah, I'm really glad that ACL injuries are no longer the career enders that they used to be. But to sit there and act like guys just come back exactly the same from these types of injuries, more often than not, they don't.
Yeah.
They're able to come back. They're able to play.
My hope would be this: if the Cowboys are dead set and wasting a third-round pick on Jonathan Brooks, if they go second round, I'm gonna fucking throw something at the screen. But if they go with a third-round pick again, he's looking in the 70s, right? That's a third-round pick there, early third-rounder, but nonetheless a third-rounder. The Cowboys go and get him in the third round. They better get whoever falls through the cracks of solid running back play out there right now. Still Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Still J.K. Dobbins. There's still Zeke out there. You need to get one of these guys for cheap, for like $1.5 million, and then you can go get Jonathan fucking Brooks. But you cannot go in with Rico.
Whichever one of those guys that's willing to sign the VBS or whatever the heck.
The VSB. Veteran Salary Benefit Deal.
Oh, sorry, Seabass. I gave you the right. I said VBS
it sounds like a disease.
Earlier. No,
Veteran
Bible School. That's what I know it sounds
Veteran Salary Benefit Contract. And if you do that VSB contract, the Cowboys get a deal on the cap and the player gets more money. So that happens usually when teams start hitting the $1.5 million range, which is the Cowboys. That's their sweet spot. 1.5, you can play for the Cowboys. Maybe.
All right, so that describes our offensive situation. Yeah. I know Steven spoke a little bit on the defense.
Yeah, well,
right?
let me explain. Yeah, because Zimmer, of course, he's creeping up. Look at him. He's gonna stab him in the back there. No, Stephen Jones actually kind of expanded a little bit on the defensive side of things and helping Zimmer and his, the emphasis Zimmer is going to have on defending the run and being bigger overall. Now, bigger overall with the personnel on that side of the ball. Eric Kendricks, sure, he's about the same as, let's say, LVE, but then you don't have you have a skinny Mozzie and also who's quicker, but not the big guy, right? You need to have a run stopper. You have no Hankins. He's in Seattle. I'll talk about Hankins after Jerry speaks, but we got nobody big in the middle. Let's say we're going to go bigger. We're going to go bigger in the draft.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you just, how do they grow bigger? Do you just, shrink yourself?
I don't know. Do you go bigger in the draft? They're going to go big guys. The Cowboys will never do that. They barely did it with Mozzie. And then that turned out poorly. So, to me, guys, again, might be, I think, a different formation for the Cowboys. This is what the Cowboys made a comment of the other day. Different formations on first down, on run downs, on early downs, to help stop the run without needing the big guys there. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. So,
Zimmer has to mastermind that shit.
Zimmer's going to be the one putting it together. What did Stephen Jones say about the situation of working with Zimmer and his kind of creative defense and then drafting guys for him and picking up guys for him?
I do think in general, Zim's philosophy is he's going to play with bigger guys. We played with 3 safeties and 2 linebackers, and I think Zim, from everything we can see right now, looks to play in first and second down scenarios with 3 linebackers. So
it sounds like, again, 3 linebackers. It's going to be, we usually had 2 linebackers and 5, like 3 safeties and 2 cornerbacks last year. Usually a nickel defense will have 3 cornerbacks and 2 safeties. But we're going to go with linebacker and get heavier. Looks like 3 linebackers.
Knowing what we know, though,
we're not done at linebacker.
That was just Dan Quinn's natural scheme, and also Dan Quinn leaning into what our front office was giving him.
That's combination of both. It's Dan Quinn's scheme, likes to use the extra safety, but also he wasn't given Bobby Wagner, which he was asking for. So, which would have been cheap, $7 million, and it worth it, obviously, Pro Bowler. So, yeah, there you go. That's the explanation of what. So we'll see what they give Zimmer, because right now they're taking weight away from Mozzie and giving him nothing back.
Look, combine
nothing
this
back
comment
inside.
with the LVE retirement.
Shit.
Again, linebacker in the second or third round is absolutely
Very possible. Yes,
possibility.
very possible. I agree with you, baby. Now, what about kind of rolling it back to the offensive line? Because we do have a guy who's not going to be here. He's with the Jets, Tyron Smith. That situation at left tackle, we're going to move Tyler Smith there. We heard some rumblings of Tyler Smith going to left tackle. So now we got to go, T.J. Bass at left guard and Brock Hoffman at center. That's our starting group right now, if that's the way we go. So that's a problem, obviously. So what, again, when it comes to Jerry being up, what's the situation going on with Stephen Jones? In his mind, when it comes to Tyler Smith getting kicked out to left tackle moving forward, because Jerry Jones said on Sunday not to dismiss that idea of Tyler Smith playing left tackle.
Yeah. Stephen basically said, well, I wouldn't make any decisions until after you see our draft, saying, quote, that's probably correct. At the end of the day, versatility is a huge thing. And whenever you have a player like Tyler that has shown he can play at a high level at tackle or guard, that brings versatility.
Again, versatility is great. The problem with versatility is that you're taking him from, to me, I'm going to say this again, left guard, he's elite. Left tackle, he's very good. He's great at left tackle, but he's elite at left guard. So it would make sense to get someone who can play left tackle.
I know.
I know their future was always for him at left tackle, but
I'm just
our offense won't be
there.
as good with him there than at guard and getting a better tackle.
I know, but the reality is, when it comes to importance of position, we can afford to have the drop off at guard more than we can afford to have a bigger drop off at tackle, right? Tyler Smith being, amazing at left tackle is better than him being outstanding at left guard.
All right.
Because we need that extra protection there.
Maybe it's easier, I think.
At least Dak,
at least
left guard wise, at least Dak has a chance of seeing them coming a little more or something. Honestly, I feel like I'm being a little pedantic here. But back
and that's also with offensive linemen too there. I mean, run blocking is important, how they run by. They're not bad, but they're still backups. And so that's my issue. Seeing coming or not,
the
to me,
versatility of the offensive linemen in the draft and where the Cowboys want them, right?
Well, there's a lot of guys at
That's
tackle.
what it sounds like.
A lot of guys at tackle and at center guard, right? So we have a lot of options there. We'll get one of those guys for sure, one of those three positions, and in a kind of versatile mix and match role, because a lot of these guys are interchangeable. But we're only gonna have one draft pick in the first round.
I do believe Steven, though, when he says that they haven't made a decision, just because, again, when it comes to the offensive linemen, there's so many different directions the Cowboys can go, and it sounds like they're still evaluating all their options there. So depends on who falls to them, where they're at. Or if they really fall in love with the guy.
I'm still a huge proponent of it. I gave a couple of names last night that we could still grab either at tackle or guard or center. That's still viable enough to go in there and compete, and let's see if Brock Hoffman can beat a veteran.
Yeah,
let's see if TJ Bass.
Yeah,
let's see if TJ Bass can beat somebody who's a Dalton Reisner, who's banged up. But who will win that? Can Connor Williams banged up beat Brock Hoffman? Because I believe both those guys from other teams can beat both our guys currently right now. So do a real test, not some bullshit. You draft an undrafted guy and say, hey, Brock Hoffman beat the undrafted center. He's the starter, guys. Bullshit. You're not tricking me. And again, I expect it to be a catastrophe on the run side and the pass side for the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy side of the scheme. So that's just me. Now, the draft, we know the Cowboys are going to hit on the draft. They're going to try to go hard at the draft. So they asked, Stephen Jones, trading back an option. Because that's why I said, you get that one first-round pick. But if this draft is deep at center, guard, and tackle, especially, at center, guard combo, but also tackle, we can grab the best offensive lineman, right, when we're at 24. Mm-hmm. Or we can drop back to 31, example. Drop the best remaining offensive, draft still a top offensive lineman who'll be a number one guy here, one of the number one offensive linemen in this draft. We grab him at 31, and we still pick up an extra third rounder where we can get a deep, if we grab a guard center, we go tackle then in the the round or second. We have that extra pick to maybe be able to take the second round and use it on the other position, right? We grab the center in the first, we grab in the second a tackle, and now we have 2 third rounders to grab a linebacker and a receiver or a running back. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of options the Cowboys can do with that extra pick and still get a top offensive lineman and then another top offensive. If they wanted to go in the draft, if you go any farther down than that, you're just getting a TJ Bass. You get TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman the day 3. So that's my point. Like, to me, you got to hit it's deep, but it's only so deep. You're not going to go in the 4th and 5th and 6th round and get yourself a starting center and a starting tackle. I'm sorry. You got to get lucky if that happens. So you want to go for sure, you get the guys that are solid and go trade back a little, build up that way, and now you got 4 fantastic picks in the top 100. The top 2 of those offensive linemen, a linebacker, and a receiver or a running back, whichever way you go. That's a good start, no? Maybe instead of a receiver, get a defensive tackle like Devondre Sweat. You throw him in there. I'm all in on that. That's what I'm talking about. But no, we're going to dilly-dally and get a running back with our second fucking pick. That's got an ACL tear. That's the kind of shit I get pissed. Anyways, I'm stopping talking. The trading back is an option. Is it even a fucking option with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones? Stephen Jones has asked, the Cowboys have 7 picks. Again, no 4th round pick at all. Big drop from 3rd to 5th round. So could the Cowboys trade back in the 1st round to acquire more picks in the draft? And I say yes. That scenario is one that remains in play, according to Stephen Jones' comments. He insists on being flexible, you got to be flexible with things on draft night. So let me hear what this guy said.
You've got to play option quarterback when the draft comes around. You're kind of seeing how things fall. We're early, too, as far as what our board will look like. Overall, especially as you move in the draft, and we're late in the 1st round, you don't really see those opportunities until the first half of the board will come off, and then we see where we sit.
Some players who were injured had questions about their character. The Cowboys have taken, a lot of these guys that have questionable character injuries, like, again, injury, Jonathan Brooks. A lot of guys, what round were they taken in usually? With character issues or injury issues? Second round.
I was going to say second round. Second round particularly stands out with an honorable mention to the 3rd round, depending on circumstance. But
second round. It's always been character issues. Gregory, we had injuries with Jalen Smith. I'm just saying, these are the guys in the 2nd round. So, you got Kelvin Joseph, 2nd round, right? A lot of these guys we take in the 2nd round have character or injury issues. So taking someone like Jonathan Brooks, it scares me. So what did he say about that, baby? Taking a risk in the 2nd round for someone who's injured or issues with character.
We've never done that, have we? Jerry doesn't have the DNA in him to take a risk.
Well, I don't know. I know we've heard that he's too risky sometimes, old Jerry. The Cowboys going to need more help.
No risk at all.
Cowboys going to need more help in the draft. Let's just be real about that. To offset the lack of fucking movement in free agency, players already on the roster are going to have to develop. That's what it's going to come down to.
The Cowboys are definitely setting their expectations on a lot of growth happening internally.
Wow, that's something to have. When, these other guys kind of trying to grow, they ain't shown much. So, what about defensive tackle? No Hankins, Gallimore. Not that I give a shit about Gallimore, but he's gone too. We're left with just one actual nose tackle, defensive tackle from last year's roster. 1st round pick, Mozzie Smith, who dropped 35 pounds per the front office. Stephen Jones, the coaching staff, I don't know who. But Mozzie hopefully puts that weight back on and can be developed into a run stopper. He's going to be the starter now, it sounds like to me. That position of nose tackle, inside defensive tackle, is a big focus, supposedly, from this guy right here saying this in this offseason. I haven't seen one yet. But it's one that he says he expects to be addressed all the way up until late in the offseason. So we're not going to see a defensive tackle really brought in here, a veteran, until like training camp. Like before training camp, guys. That's the way they're working. So give me the update on Zimmer, Mozzie, through Stephen Jones's fucking stupid-ass brain. What did he say?
I think another year with Mozzie. I know Zim is looking forward to working with him. I just think that Mozzie is going to step up and be a really good football player. There's usually big defensive tackles out there that you can pick up, and I know the Eagles picked up a couple years ago late in the game. I just feel like there's going to be some opportunities there at that position, as well to add some depth and competition for camp.
So there you go.
That also really makes me think that what we just genuinely didn't want Hankins back in the building, because their answer is basically, hey, there's going to be some Hankins-like players still available if we need help, so we're good. And then Hankins is over here like, what am I, chopped liver? Yeah,
listen,
I guess.
What the Cowboys could have paid him to stay is too much for this front office, and I'll explain to that in a minute after we hear from Jerry Jones. Because Jerry Jones kind of says we're going all in, but yet Hankins was too much. We're going to save about maybe $700,000 between Hankins and the least cheapest veteran nose tackle. That's it. They want to hold out to save that. That to me is a pitiful front office. Pitiful front office. And I see, of course, the man Thomas Gary said Mozzie's over 300 pounds again. Thank goodness. We need that. We need him to go to 320, to 330 when he came in. That's what we need Mozzie at, and he needs to get quicker off the ball. Someone better teach him how to do that right, because if not, he's going to get blocked out every single play. So when he's quick off the ball, the man is you can see the first round talent. But he's got to get quicker off the ball. But it's not by losing weight, because he's getting shoved all over the field. So, and he's still not getting quicker off the ball. So Mozzie better be the hit here, because I scrubbed that first year. Like I said, I never say, Jalen Tolbert had a bad first year. Everyone's saying he's a bust. I said, yeah, a bust rookie year like Mozzie had. But let's not cross him off yet. Great second year for Jalen Tolbert in a new system, simpler system. He plays all over the place. Let's see if Mozzie under Zimmer, which is a much more complex system, maybe he gets help from Zimmer in those front lineups that we just discussed. The way they're going to line up for a first down or second down running plays. It's going to be different than on pass downs, where we're going to be blitzing from the inside.
True.
With Mozzie, with Micah and Eric Hendricks hovering in the middle over the A-gap. So it's going to be, every play is going to be different with Zimmer, it seems like. So we'll see what happens. But Stephen Jones finished discussing the situation here, talking about Stephon Gilmore. If a potential return is possible next year, and based on his answer, honestly, doesn't sound like it, guys. It doesn't sound like it's 100% shut. I'll say that. It sounds like the door is still open for Stephon Gilmore, but it sounds like the way he spoke, I don't even have the quote. He's more, it's like we're already set with our three cornerbacks. Trayvon Diggs, DeRon Bland on the outside, and Jordan Lewis as our slot. Mm-hmm. I do not like that at all. That's even worse than we could have expected. That is trouble. Now, you talk about Stephon Gilmore. I'll take a break here in a minute, but first I want to make sure I kind of continue to talk about a couple guys. Are the Cowboys going to make any moves after hearing all this? It sounds like nothing. Stephon Gilmore, not a guy the Cowboys don't seem too interested in re-signing. And he had a visit with Hall of Famer, former Cowboy cornerback Deion Sanders. And he posted a picture with him on Instagram. Coach Primetime, Deion Sanders said, quote, "I got a special visit from a future Hall of Famer and his sons." Stephon Gilmore. Then he said, "Dallas, stop playing." End quote. Mm-hmm. That was an endorsement there from Deion Sanders for Stephon Gilmore to come back to the Cowboys. Stephon wants back to the Cowboys. It sounds like Stephen Jones don't want him back. That's something that's going to keep.
Or just waiting until he's cheap enough that now we want him back.
Yeah, they'll say he's a great player when he's at $3 million a year, and he ain't going to probably drop that low. But you never know. Right now, you're getting guys signed. They're saying he's $11 million. The Cowboys ain't paying $11 million. I can guarantee you that. And Xavier Howard is running at like $7-8 million. That's a great deal. They ain't paying that either, the Cowboys. So I guess they're just looking at our three starters. They just paid the slot corner, the nickel corner, Jordan Lewis, minimal money, $2 million to start at corner, at nickel cornerback. If anyone goes down, Deshaun Wright starting. That's fucked up. Anyways, so that's the Gilmore update there. I hope at the very least he's the guy that's signed, because we need that fourth corner, and he's an outside corner starting, a solid guy. You get him on. I'm sure he's giving the Cowboys a good deal. Less than $11 million, but the Cowboys ain't budging.
Yeah.
And there you go. Now, another player I want to mention, and this is actually this is just, a lot of you guys had asked about La'el Collins. Is he a Cowboy? Is he a free agent? Is he on another team?
Yeah, what's his status, basically?
He's a free agent. He was not re-signed to the Futures deal with the Cowboys. He's just a free agent still. No one has signed him. But I'm hearing that he is a wild card. And I hate saying this because it's so Jerry Jones, but it's a wild card pickup for the Cowboys, it sounds like. And they're going to use La'el Collins as a possibility, maybe to kind of, flaunt to the fans, saying, hey, look, we got ourselves our left tackle now.
Or, hey, look, we made, offensive line moves and got some O-line depth.
Exactly.
And
but
we're good now.
The craziest part about this story is not for O-line depth, and it's not for offensive tackle. He played guard, of course, and also tackle during his NFL career. He's working himself back into shape, and he's been at the Star during the entire offseason so far working out. So he's close with the Cowboys. They're keeping tabs on him and watching him. He seems to be getting in shape. If he does get in shape, and he does get to the level where he can play, he'll be a practice squad player. He's not going to start. The Cowboys will pump him up, though, and he might be able to play guard like he did in the past, or tackle. Well, he did the right tackle, right? So we'll see what the Cowboys do with him, but do not fall for the okie doke. In my opinion, he is far, far away from being a starting offensive lineman in the NFL and for the Dallas Cowboys, even with our gaping holes. I think T.J. Bass is probably better than Donnell Collins right now. Saying at the guard spot. So these are the big. So the prospect of Stephon Gilmore seems like that's going away. Seems like that the Cowboys are not interested unless he goes down to like $1 million. The big move, the wild card move, is La'el Collins. Are you fucking kidding me? That's trash move.
I was gonna say that.
That's trash.
That is so underwhelming. It is.
And some people, and I'm sorry to say, I know some fans are huge fans of La'el Collins, but he's a shell of what he used to be. Like he's in two shells. So he is far from where he needs to be. And if you think he's starting, and that's a good thing, we are fucked. Dak is going to get broken. We'll have no running game, and McCarthy's offense is going to look like it did the first 3 games of the last year, 4 games. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of McCarthy, all these moves not going on. What did McCarthy say, baby? I got to tell you, I put a short up. It is fantastic. It really tells you, you see it, I think you heard it. You hear and see McCarthy's face just kind of saying, what the fuck can I do? So McCarthy spoke on NFL on ESPN. And McCarthy spoke about the Cowboys. He was asked about the Cowboys' lack of free agent signings with Adam Scheffler, asking him. And McCarthy told Adam Scheffler that he's not concerned about the Cowboys' inactivity in free agency. Why? He says because second-year and third-year players, those younger players, he expects them to all make jumps, as well as getting back players from injury, like Trayvon Diggs and DeMarvion Overshown, who, by the way, Overshown is a guy from injury and also a second-year guy who made no jump yet. So I think it's all a bunch of bullshit McCarthy has to say. Why? Because the Joneses are not spending any money, and Dak knew it wasn't going to happen. Dak's like, I want to see it happen, and McCarthy's like, I'm playing with the cards I am dealt from the Joneses. So you guys make your comments and thoughts on that short that's posted. Much love to the first in-stream. And we had some gift and memberships. We had a pre-stream, I think, drop. We had some PayPal stuff and Cash Apps yesterday. But the first in-stream super chat of the week, Calvin Richard with the 5 on it. Ooh. $5 holler. A-Level goes to 87 points. And hit me with what Mr. Calvin Richard had to say.
Cowboys never dive into free agency. Could they possibly pull this off and actually make a run?
I heavily doubt it. That's my answer. I heavily doubt it.
Never say never, right?
I heavily doubt it.
Chance, but yeah. This feels like I said, the Cowboys never really dive into free agency, but even we still make some moves, right? I don't know, and especially in recent years, like I said, we've actually kind of gone our way to break the mold a little bit. But like I said, whatever we did last year scared us so badly. We went, running with tail tucked between our legs, right back to our good old habits. You know
what's crazy about that? I think last year, we made moves. We made trades, right? Mm-hmm. We made 2 trades. We signed a couple guys back, got Dan Quinn back. We made this run, and it failed horribly, right? It felt like last year was all in. This year feels like rebuild. I'm just being honest. Yeah. It feels like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Speaking of all in, and I'm sorry. You know what? Before I get to old Jerry Jones. Any last comments on what Stephen Jones said or Mike McCarthy had to say about?
Well, Matt Batten said fans be excited about anything the Joneses say. It's sad.
Yeah, that's the bad
set
part.
Up McCarthy for failed season.
That is 100% true. This is a dead coaching like contract here, and Zimmer is just trying to get a 1-year bounce to another team that'll take him. If he can do well with the defense that's heavily stacked. So.
Or he said Jerry will fix it. Pioneer said Coach Prime and his luggage in 25.
Maybe. I mean, you may. I don't think that's the best move, but yeah, that's a Jerry Jones move for sure. For sure.
So, anyway, keep it rolling here, baby.
Well, yeah, let's keep it rolling. But, baby, guess what? You have the info on this. Because, yes, the king of the castle, Jerry Jones spoke. And he's talking about, remember, guys, he was talking about that all in. I'm all in, guys. You know, he said this way back. We were talking about the clown show. We talked about the all in from Jerry Jones and all that bullshit. And, baby, you said it. I said it. We all said it. The all in was going to be, it was just the Jerry Jones all in is different. Now, he said it with his own fucking mouth. He said all in, and he's the one that hyped himself up. As he got a little ahead of himself. Maybe this is an age thing. But now he's changing his message from all in on the Cowboys to needing to win with less. Is that not the opposite of all in? I'm just curious, because you going all in, you're going to win with more. But he went from all in a month ago to now we're going to win with less. Maybe I'll let you explain. Again, don't dare say to him, don't you dare say he's not all in to Jerry Jones. What did Jerry Jones say today about this fucking bullshit?
I have been more all in before. By any definition, and I have more all in to make a run back to the line of scrimmage than I've been to run for 50 yards. It took more all in to just get back to the line of scrimmage than it did to run the 50 yards. Sometimes that is a bigger challenge. That is really the gist of what we're about this year. We've got to get it done.
I mean,
so basically,
what a
Jerry's
bunch of
trying
bullshit.
to say that, you know, the work, the hard work that it takes, you know, to get to that to that stage, I guess, right? Like, am I understanding
to get
that right?
back to the all-in stage.
It took more all-in to just get back to the line of scrimmage than it did to run the 50 yards. So, again, just to get back to the starting point,
it took more money to get there.
It took more
so less resources.
effort and everything. So, I don't know.
That's called Jerry Jones double talk bullshit. Case closed. I'm ruling on that. Knocking the wood. So again,
let's be real. He's trying to get us he's trying to pull some shrinkflation on us, right?
Listen, we are going from all in to win with less. What did he say?
I think that we have been in a situation where we can get it done with lesser. More doesn't necessarily beat Green Bay. There are other things. Maybe having it better strategically in different spots, but more than necessarily beat them either. So we're going to be asked to do some things different because we've got some different players. You can't have all that if you don't sacrifice someplace else. Nobody can do that. And so you drive the 5-year-old Muddy Bronco, to get to buy the Cowboys.
Jesus fucking Christ, he's an idiot. I'm just saying, like he's just double talking you to death here, and he's just saying things that...
Yeah, you're acting like the Broncos in good shape, but just maybe, it's a little ugly from sitting out in the driveway for a few years now, right? No, Jerry, you're trying to get us to accept that this hoopty is a Lexus. It's not. Like, I don't know what to say.
It's just it's the salesman dream here of Jerry Jones.
So, anyway. Just saying, driving the 5-year-old Bronco is not going to fix the problems we have. So anyway, kind of going on, Jerry said, what we're doing here can hit the next 5 years because it can impact us that far. So you've got some real decisions. We have huge amounts of money that hit our cap for dollars that we've spent on players for either a period of time when they played or the player himself that won't be here in the future. We won't be getting an ounce out of them in 2020.
Again, he literally said, this is all the lies that he's just exposing himself. But again, he said literally, we're not going to worry about the future. We're all in now. This was said by Stephen Jones. This was said by Mike McCarthy. Of course, Jerry Jones is making the decision on this, but he literally is doing the opposite of what he said. He's literally saying the opposite. Mike McCarthy, I want to also say earlier, he said that literally, when are we going to make free agent moves? He was asked by Scheffler. And McCarthy said, well, we still have still a long time left. Not just these guys coming up and up-and-coming guys in their second and third years, but we also have the pre-draft kind of rush for players. He said there's the post-draft kind of signings, which again means no comp picks lost after the draft, by the way, which is when the Joneses usually do some moves and, make a couple of free agent pickups. And then McCarthy continued by saying we have the rest of the offseason all the way up to training camp. That's telling me the Cowboys are not going to sign anybody until after the draft when they're cheap and they don't cost comp picks. And McCarthy just knows he can't really do much more than just hope that the Joneses allow some money to be spent when they say ready, set, go. And they get whatever scraps are left over for the Cowboys. And I'm literally telling you guys, after the draft and before training camp, that's when the Cowboys are going to spend money. And you guys going to be, I think, be one or two guys who might be like, all right, we'll see. And the rest going to be highly disappointing. That's the plan going forward. Per now, Jerry, Steven, and Mike McCarthy. But we're talking Jerry here. All right, because we lost depth that we had last year, especially on the defensive line. What did he say about that?
He said we had depth last year. Defensive front depth. The biggest complaint we had was nobody got to play enough. We couldn't get enough snaps. So we're going to make some of them happy. It was nice to be able to have that number and stay fresh. But we really didn't make them as happy as they could have been or make us happy. Well, now we can.
So Jerry just basically said we paid, not overpaid, but we paid for too many defensive edge rushers. And so we just let some of them let them go to Washington, which is fine. And we're not going to replace that because we got Sam Williams and a rookie we're going to draft in the 4th round or something, or 5th round. That's what he's basically telling me with that shit. Unfortunately. Anyways.
So, again, Jerry likes to get deep.
Listen, the depth is no longer a luxury now for the Cowboys, per Jerry Jones. And he did say, I'm paraphrasing here, but he regretted not winning the Super Bowl despite all the wins the Cowboys have had over the last 3 years. So, obviously, he's still annoyed by that, as the whole Cowboy family here is, and Cowboy fan base. So, there's always going to be that what did we had a chance to make that run last year. What happened? But we've been getting close, right? So is that enough for Jerry? It is. I want to hear what Jerry, though, literally said about being close all these years.
We've been hanging around the rim pretty good. I know our fans don't want to hear it, but we've been hanging around the rim pretty good. We've been winning a lot of games. That's what has transpired with us spending that money, the way that we spend it. Is it satisfactory to sit here and not have advanced the last 2 or 3 years? Absolutely not. To have a plan not work to go to the Super Bowl is very disappointing, or, for that matter, not advance in the playoffs. You say we won't have as good a team as we had last year, 9 Pro Bowlers. Of course, not on paper, because you're not going to have Tyron Smith. Tyron looks beautiful on paper. He looks wonderful on paper. There's nothing you can do. We can't replace him with the 1st round pick and look like Tyron Smith looks out there.
So that was a bad move in my mind, dear Jerry, to not be able to squeeze him under this cap that we're going to have $25, $35, $45 million open eventually. I guess he just wants to use that moving forward to cover the costs of Dak, CeeDee, and Micah. That'll be his excuse and Steven's excuse for the next decade. It's because of those guys. Anyways. He
okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to keep going.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to make a quick comment on that.
So I thought it was interesting that his kind of repeated thing, like, "Oh, Tyron Smith looks wonderful on paper, kind of the secret. I don't want to say secret, but the implication there is obviously,
he's not really
good on paper, but in reality,
he's too hard to manage for a full season.
Yeah, there's more complexities behind Tyron Smith.
Well. Now we have to have our young 2, rookies. Some are going to be rookies. A couple may be rookies. But definitely 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year guys step up. McCarthy said it. Stephen Jones said it. Jerry Jones, I'm sure, has the same thoughts about having the young guys stepping up and starting. So what did he... That means Tolbert's going to start. That means Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass are going to start. If you're going by what he's saying, Rico's the starter as the running back. You're going to have Mozzie starting at the nose tackle. That's our team next year, if you were wondering. So what did Jerry expand on that?
He said, get used to it.
What?
We're going to have some young ones step in. Young ones being some of your younger draft picks. You're going to have them, and make no mistake about it. You're going to lose some people that in the perfect world you had all the money in the world and you would keep them.
Oh, come on.
Let me say this. Sometimes you make a decision and you've got the money, but you're anticipating looking ahead at something that's coming. And so that's what you're seeing.
Well, I don't know about that, but, he's saying that he's telling us everything except this is a rebuild year. But he said starting over was never an option because the Cowboys are too close. I see this Cowboys taking a step back, who obviously were not as good on paper. Not just Tyron Smith, but across the board other than linebackers. So what is he doing to us? We're close, and he's saying he's not rebuilding, or he's not quitting or starting over, but we're not going forward. We're going backwards. So what did he say on that, baby?
He said, I would look at the last 3 seasons, and I would say from that they know what to doing. So that's what it says here.
As a Jones.
So they've had excellent talent, and I have had enough to win 12 games. And I've had coaching that does correlate. They're short on moving forward. Rather than start all over, my judgment is take what we've got and be as strategic about what we're going to be doing in the next few years. Be strategic, but not compromise, and all in now.
So, literally not an all in. You finally heard it, guys. You finally heard it here from Jerry Jones. As I've been saying, and baby, you've been saying, and some of you guys been saying, we ain't going to all in. We got to see it. Even Dak Prescott, when he was asked about the all, he goes, yeah, I heard about that. I would love to see it. Like he said it like in a confident way, like I would love to see that. But it sounded to me a lot more like, I would love to see that shit happen. It ain't happening. And it's not happening. And after that comment, he was asked, why not? Like why do you feel so confident right now that you're going forward? And what is keeping you, Jerry Jones, kind of in the thought that we got a shot to make another run with, we're going to win with less. Like what makes it what gives Jerry the confidence of that?
He said, because you've got Dak, for sure.
So back to putting more on Dak. All right, I got it.
We think he's a great quarterback and can do as good as you can do. By the way, we know that was in his last year. That is what we negotiated years ago. And then really prudently, is there going to be life after 2024? You bet there is. A lot of it. We've got to think about all that. But were I you to take that issue, not emotionally, but were I to take that issue as all in, your thing that you hung my neck is all in.
Well, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, and Jerry, by the way, did say supposedly he's like, I have always been all in.
Listen, he literally just said he's not all in. Then he says he's all in. And then he says, why are you putting this on my neck? Why are you putting this all in thing on me? Motherfucker, make up your mind. And all I'm going to say is this. You're not all in. You're all out. This is a rebuild type year. This is we're going to do more. When you say you're going to do more than with less, you're saying we got less to win a championship and these players got to step up. And it doesn't mean Dak. He says Dak is the reason why we keep this team going forward. That's what he's saying. But it's about the second year and third year guys and a couple rookies stepping up this year. That's a lot. That's a lot that's got to happen. If all that happens, then we may win a game in the playoffs. It's like, really? All of that for that? When we were already there? We could have made a couple of signings, a couple extensions, a couple, restructures. We would have had $40 million to play with and really add real players. But Jerry Jones said he didn't want to do an all-in right now. He said that. Yet he said, hey, don't tell me I'm not all in. Yeah. What the fuck? Listen, quick little comment about this. Maybe I want you to hit the chat and kind of find final comments on this topic. But let me give you an example of how bullshit all in is. And this is just a real minor example, but just another example. Jonathan Hankins. I know Jonathan Hankins not going to play. I know he's going to, I know he's in Seattle. But this is a Jerry Jones. He said he's all in, right? Stephen Jones said we need a tackle, a defensive tackle. We got to find that for Zimmer, right? And I'm sure Zimmer probably said, I don't want Jonathan Hankins. Maybe that's what it is. But we got to get someone like Jonathan Hankins. Jonathan Hankins, guys, in case you were wondering, was signed for a 1-year contract in Seattle, which we knew. How much? Total max out deal, $2.05 million. $2 million for Jonathan Hankins, max.
That was too rich for our blood?
Max. It's $300,000 of that. $300,000 is guaranteed. He got a $300,000 signing bonus, right? That's $600,000 there. And then he got a $1.24 million base salary. So that 1.24 is basically a veteran salary contract here. The Cowboys, again, this $1.24 million is basically what the cap hit's going to be. He also gets $510,000 if he plays all the games. So that's broken down in an per game bonus. If he gets hurt, he missed a couple games, it goes from 510, it goes to, let's say, 300,000, right? So he gets the 1.24, but only 300,000 is guaranteed. He does get a signing bonus, which they can throw that into a next year avoidable year. There's a lot of things they can do with that. My point here is literally costing the Seahawks nothing to have Jonathan Hankins on their team. And that tells me Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys were not interested in signing Jonathan Hankins. It was the Cowboys claimed that they wanted him. We know there's a lot of reporters out there that know the Cowboys were all in on Jonathan Hankins. And the Seahawks offered more. This was more, guys. $2 million, $300,000 guaranteed, $300,000 signing bonus, $1.24 million base salary, which is a veteran minimum salary there. And then he gets incentives if he plays every game. Every game he plays, he gets like $50,000 or something like that, you know? So I'm just saying, like, what the fuck? That's too much money, Cowboys? That's what they claimed. Too much money for Hankins. That's insane. That's not too much money. You're at max, you're $700,000 away from paying the veteran the minimum you could pay to a veteran. I think it's just they didn't want him here. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's too cheap that they were that cheap. They can't pay him that, and they actually wanted him. They just wanted him for $1.24 million straight across the board. That's what they wanted him for. They didn't want him for the chance to make $2 million. That's insane to me. That's that's $750,000 that they're worried about for the cap. Are you fucking kidding me? So to me, it's not about the cap on this, in my opinion. It's about they didn't want Hankins. And that could be Zimmer. That could be the front office. I don't know. But I know Hankins wanted to play in Dallas. And he got shafted by the front office again. Mm-hmm. So again, you guys let me know what you think. But to me, that's all. You know, Jerry Jones came and go all in on a guy he said he wanted, which is Jonathan Hankins, because of $750,000. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is, guys. And think about the fact that NFL teams, listen to this. You know which NFL teams have spent the least this offseason? You know it's coming up, right? When you include free agents, you include extensions, you include waiver wire pickups, and trades. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati's at $72,000. Denver, $53,000 only. That's all they spent. New Orleans Saints only spent $52,000. Okay. And the Chargers spent only $39,000. The Cowboys spent $11,130. Again, I'm sorry, I'm saying thousand. Shit, $72 million for the Bengals, $53 million for the Broncos. The New Orleans Rams, $52.1 million is what they spent. The Chargers spent $39.2 million, and the Cowboys have spent $11.1 million on free agents, extensions, waivers, and trades. That's incredible, guys. No matter how you spin this, I don't care if you hate Dak, you want to blame Dak. I don't care if you think that the Joneses are crippled by the cap or whatever it is. No matter how you fucking spin this, guys. No matter how you want to believe, this is about the pie. And the pie, they got to save money. Guys, this is proof. This is bullshit. Please, if you guys don't believe it, please understand it somehow. Get it through your heads that the pie is a lie. There is no legitimate explanation for the Cowboys to be the only team in the NFL. And there's teams much worse on the cap than us. The Cowboys are spending $30 million less than the next team that didn't spend money. We're $30 million under the Chargers. That is insane. And guys, that's Dak's contract or no Dak contract. The Cowboys are always at the bottom of the fucking list of spending money. So, again, when you guys, some say, oh, it's on Dak. No, it's not. It's on Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. If you're trying to actually win, you would never spend $30,000 less than the 31st most spending team in the NFL. We're 32nd by $30 million. Not 30,000, $30 million. You don't want to win. It sounds like you want to lose. It sounds like you want this to fail if you're the Joneses. So, with all this going on, can you believe that the Dallas Cowboys 2024 regular season win total when it comes to the over-under is Currently set at 10 wins is the over-under. Crazy, though. Again, the Cowboys' opening win total last year, the over-under was 9.5. 9.5. So this year we're actually opening up with a higher chance to win more games by the odds makers, yet a lot less to win. We'll see. Jerry Jones says we're gonna do it this year because we're gonna have less. We're gonna overcome having less, and we're gonna win more with having less. I don't know how that math works. Sounds like Jerry Jones arithmetic, and it don't work. And it hasn't worked for 28 plus years. It's going to be 29 or 30 or 31 eventually if this shit continues this way.
Exactly.
So I want to know what you guys think as we do a parting closing here. Shout-outs. But before we do the shout-outs, I want to get a couple comments on this.
Of course. Yeah. So Matt Batten said, Jones's bad management isn't on Dak.
Nope.
I agree.
Nope,
and unfortunately, though, as soon as things go south or as soon as we can't sign any players or choose not to sign or whatever
who's the first person blamed? Well, not directly, but hey, we don't have the money, guys. We got a cap, and Dak, $60 million. No, you can restructure. You can extend. There's other options. They didn't even do Plan B to let's see what else we go outside from Dak. We can't. They set this up this way. The Joneses, they're idiots.
No surprise there. So,
unfortunately.
Oh, hold on there. You guys said MCF Dak will never leave the Cowboys. He makes more money on endorsements and playing for the Cowboys. So
we thought about Tyron Smith, but yeah, he skedaddled when the Cowboys did him wrong. Trust me, Dak is gone too if the Cowboys do him wrong. There's no way he's staying in Dallas with all the shit that he's been taking in Dallas all these years from half the fan base. So I don't see him staying here because he's getting endorsements.
Seabass said all the games y'all watch next season. Them fans in the stands, the Joneses love them types. Yep. And y'all types that just keep buying into the pie.
Well, again, we don't buy into it. But, we do call it out all the time. And I will never stop watching the Cowboys. You know why? Because as we say here every single night, it's the star over everything. Guys, maybe your favorite player was Des Bryant. I don't give a fuck. My favorite player is Emmitt Smith. I don't give a fuck. Your favorite coach is Tom Landry. I don't give a fuck. Jimmy Johnson. I don't care. Jerry Jones, fuck you. It's the star over every player, every coach, and every owner. It's the star over everything. So I'm always watching the Cowboys. Just going to spend my money wisely when it comes to, my gear for years that I have, that the wife has, the kids have. We're going to use that gear literally for years. We've done it before with the Garrett situation.
Yeah.
We have it on film, and we'll do it again. I have no problem, just going with my boy Mosh and getting, jerseys through him. I'd rather give Moshman the cash any day than Jerry Jones to extort us for more money that Jerry Jones does. With the bullshit smokescreen he blows up our ass when it comes to the real things we can do with this team and the things that they truly want to do, which is not spend the money and let this team kind of implode. It feels to me next year everyone's gone. It kind of feels like that. A little. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Jerry Jones said we're going to sign Dak. It just feels like this team is ready to implode. That's my opinion.
So, let me see. Jerry Jones said, F me. Yeah. I'll take a nice blonde woman, 5'8", but you're very kind.
Oh, Jerry. Always count on Jerry.
Oh, sorry. I had to read that one right. So, Jerry also said numbers don't lie. Dak's contract's eating up the pie.
I don't know. It is. Only because the Cowboys are not restructuring it. Only because the Cowboys are not extending. If the Cowboys restructure it, it's eating up like $35 million. That's awesome.
By the way, said losing pays more for winning than Jerry.
For Jerry, yep. Just competitiveness is all he wants. He wants 10 and 12 wins. That keeps us competitive. He makes his money either way.
So, let me see. Rolling back a little bit here. I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, on this specific thing.
Well, let's get the shout-outs then we're going, and let's call it a night. Here, Jerry Jones, get off my goddamn screen.
Again, huge shout-out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Seabass said, 2 things can be true at once. I don't want Dak as my quarterback anymore, but who better right now? Jerry and Stephanie... being, hot ass, being Haas on money. So hopefully I don't really get that last part there. You have to explain to Seabass, but I do get your point. Basically, they're being cheapskates, right? Penny pinchers. Mike Aldana said mediocrity keeps going and going.
Oh yeah, he loves that.
Stephen White, much love, saying, well, he'd make more money winning Super Bowls.
It's true. He don't care. It's too much. He'd rather lose and not make Super Bowls and not make NFC. He'd rather do that his way than do it somebody else's way and win a Super Bowl. It's been shown before. He fired Jimmy Johnson basically for that reason. I was there.
Oh, okay. YouTube censorship. He meant hoes.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
Jerry and Steven being hoes. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes more sense, Seabass, right? First of all, yes. Thank you, Seabass. Appreciate you. Much love.
Over
Matt
everything,
Batten.
man, in the house.
We have Aztec Aguilar 04.
Hey, look who popped
Stephen
up.
White, what's up? Oh, who's that? Impersonator. That's a joke.
MCF After Dark. Follow those eyes to the promised land.
We have Jared Jones, of course. Seabass, much love. Matt Batten, take it easy. Orlando Rodriguez, much love. Stephen White, have a great night. Seabass, of course.
In the house.
Let me see. Mike Aldana, take it easy. KD, in the place to be. Kelvin Hicks, take it easy. Have a great night. Pioneer, much love. Just trying to go back and see here. Ryan Files, have a good night. Ori. We have Calvin Richard. Yeah, that's as far back as it lets me go, though. So there we go. Perfect.
Yeah, we're good. So on that note, again, I do want to big shout outs to our sponsor of the week, the man. Much love to McLovin, Dolphin fan, but an MCF family member here. Appreciate you, McLovin. Not just a sponsor of the week, but he's also got the crown on. He's the king of the Cash App. Much love to McLovin. A. Lavelle, 87 points, hanging on there with the, little 87 and Mr. Ferguson there making the catch for the TD. So much love to Mr. Lavelle, repping that board, all green right now at the top. And then you see the gifting champion right above that, coming across your screen. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. He had 3 for the win last week, and currently he's in the lead with 1, kicking off the week right. So appreciate this man staying skeptical. Currently trying to go back to back like our 90s Cowboys, and then. Of course, Lavelle is running the 87 points in the straight bus, but who's running the overall board? And I'll say Cash App because it seems to go hand in hand recently from the After Dark sessions. And right now, a lot of people have been repping that spot, but it is the man, Harley Dad, who is our current overall leader and our current Cash App leader. Yes, he's there in front of the ballers like McLovin and others. So, Sco and Skeptical and Calvin Richard, who dropped the love tonight, Skeptical fan as well. Thank you all for the love. But Harley Dad is the man. Sponsor. He's coming for that sponsor of the week. He's coming for that Cash App crown. We'll see what happens and who gets down and takes that championship here. Basically, the last chance to get into. If you're not already in the membership side of the Star and Over Everything, yeah, there's a last chance to basically be in the weekly winner board. So you can get entered into this raffle for a sewn and stitched jersey. It could be any team. So a lot of these guys are from other teams. It could be any team, but we've never shipped a non-Cowboy jersey yet in 7 years. But with a couple of these names here, the Harley Dad's a Niner fan, McLovin's a Dolphin fan. There may be first time ever non-Cowboy jersey ship. We don't know. Either way, join up in those membership levels if you want to get in, or be the weekly winner. That's the way you're getting in. Appreciate all you guys repping it. Appreciate those that dropped the love. Like I said, Sco971, McLovin, Harley Dad, Skeptical Fan, and Calvin Richard. We got the top 5 on the board already set. And, baby, I want you to remind everybody one last thing before we get out of here. Why do we do this thing on MCF each and every night here on My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. And of course, can't forget about the good, the bad, the ugly. Win, lose, or draw.
No matter what, guys, we rep that star.
That's your part.
No matter what, we rep. I was making sure I got Calvin Richard on that board.
I know.
No matter what, here on this channel, re-rep that star over everything. And here on My Cowboys Family for 6.5 plus, almost 7 years on July 1st on YouTube. Here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond, damn it. Thank you all for rocking with us here in the chat, dropping knowledge all night long. All night. And, of course, those dropping the love from above, whether after dark or prime time for us, which is right now, My Cowboys Family. We'll be going after dark after this, so join us there if you want to have a little fun, some drinks. I'm taking a little break on having a lot of drinks tonight. I overdid it yesterday. But, guys, thank you for rocking it here with us and talking Cowboys 24/7. And for those that go in the after dark sessions and drop the fun over there, jump on panels, and, of course, there's love drop there as well. So thank you all for all the love and support. Can't do it without you all. Dropping the knowledge in the chat, dropping the love from above. And now it is time for us to clock out and drop out for the night officially. Relock and reload for another show. Maybe not tomorrow. We'll see how things go, guys. We may be busy, but we'll try to do something tomorrow or back Wednesday at the latest. So expect that. And before we can officially drop out for the night, tell them what we got to do, baby.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. And it's a wrap here in MCF My Cowboys Family. Thank you all for repping it here with us. And, wrapping up the first day of the week. A wrap-up style here. News, info, and updates right here on MCF's Cowboys Chat. And, yes, they got the new hats on there. Well, we superimpose those new draft hats in the Cowboys onto Jerry and Steven's head. McCarthy, in that interview right there, he speaks about we're going to go get free agents and after the draft and before training camp. What the hell? That's what the Cowboys going to do. Stephen Jones said we're going to get a defensive tackle right before training camp. We talked about it all and more here. Rule changes and on and on. Thank you all for joining us here for another one right here on MCF, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star always over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here in this channel. The number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Appreciate all of you guys, even the haters in the house. Thank you all for repping it with us here. Make sure you don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. It helps the analytics. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. And keep raising the family member numbers up and up. Let's keep it growing. And, of course, hit your notification bell to all videos so you know when we're going live. Almost always on the nightly here at MCF for almost 7 years. Of course, all social media at My Cowboys Family. You got the Discord. You got all the information in the description down below. If you're watching this in a replay, hit the like as well and do all that good stuff. And comment down below. That's a wrap, guys. Thank you. We'll see you back tomorrow or Wednesday. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever forget, Go Cowboys! Woo!